Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Spurs from the Stands. I'm, of course, Sarah. How are you all doing today? Season is over and out, and hopefully, we're all excited, enjoying the summer and the fact that we're going to be in the Premier League next year. I'm still buzzing off of the high from the weekend. Welcome to you all in the chat. I can see you all jumping in. Just bear with me because I'm trying to do a live interactive session with you guys. So bear with me because I'm just making sure that everything's set up and we don't have any lags. So that's why I was a little bit later than normal. I think I can see you all. Big up to you all. Thanks for joining us. Welcome in, everyone. My laptop's doing that thing again. Guys, I have to sort this out. Right. I think we're all sorted. Yes, I probably do need to buy a watch. Am I lagging already? This is the problem with doing a live. Can you guys actually hear me? Yes. Can you guys hear me? Let me know in the chat. Hopefully you can hear me. And hopefully you can't hear the fan, which is on in the background. My laptop is going to be lagging today. Oh no, guys. Why is it doing this again? I literally just did a reset. I literally just did a reset. I think I can see you guys jumping in. Okay, I'm going to try and not move too much, which for me is a big ask, I know. I'll try and not move too much. Okay, guys, you can hear me. Fab. Cheers to you all. Today, I'm on the Thai iced tea. Only I would drink it in a Magners pint glass. Yeah, it's bloody hot. And I feel like I'm lagging a bit because of this heat. Awful stuff, guys. But yes, we have a huge show today, and I'm very excited to share with you just so much stuff. Okay, first of all, we're going to go through your comments. That's the first thing. So for anyone watching on replay, if you want to skim over the next 2 hours, first half an hour or so, maybe 35 minutes or so, we're going to go through the fan reactions. Then after that, we're going to go through what we have learnt this season, because I know that there is a huge conversation out there about who do we buy, but the truth is that you cannot buy players until you make space for the new. So in transformation and in transformational coaching, I'm going to apply the principles that I would normally do. That would be to clear out the clutter before we can start embracing and allowing space for all of these new players to come in, because we know that we need 2 players in each position. And so there's no point doing a huge, speculative piece around who we're going to buy without really knowing what positions are in fact priority, and a realistic one at that. And then I have put a link in the chat for you guys. I've pinned it in the comments. I can see that quite a few of you have already done the quiz. Let me just see how many people have done it so far. 130 votes so far on the squad. 131 votes. So guys, get your votes in, and then what we will do towards the end of this, I will share with you guys what your thoughts are, sort of get a sense temperature of the room of who we think we should. Some players might be really obvious, but there are some players in there that I've also, it took me ages, guys, today. I've been going through the entire squad, including the under 21s, the people that are out on loan. So I haven't included the under 21 full academy. I've just included the players that were out on loan. So if anyone is unsure of who the pictures are, because obviously it doesn't show you the names, I'm going to drop in the chat now, if it lets me. I've just dropped in the chat now a link which is to the Spurs website, so you can actually see and cross-reference who those players are in case you're not so familiar with who they are. Great, guys. First of all, I can see that we have a huge super chat. Big up to you, Cam Zoa. Thank you so, so much. It is greatly appreciated. Kamzoa said, a big shout out to Sarah for her great content and the fan base for going through the worst season in our lifetimes. I'm not the type of Spurs fan who says, I told you so, but I told you. So we will survive relegation. See you all next season. Walks out. Thank you so, so much, Kamzoa. Big up to you for supporting the channel and me. I appreciate it very, very much. So thank you very much. Big up to you all jumping in the chat. If you are just joining now, and you are new around here, first of all, please do like, subscribe, comment, share, and all of that jazz, because it does help the channel. But also just maybe scroll back a few minutes because I was making the intro and explaining what we're going to be doing today and how this is going to go. And you can see the pinned comments in the chat. So guys, what are you guys saying? I was pressing loan rather than sell and couldn't change it. Oh no. Are we going to get loads of people being up for loan when really you wanted to actually sell them? Don't worry, you can always do it again. But it's going to be an average anyway, so we'll get an idea. Anyway, guys, to dive into today's session, and I will be keeping an eye on the chat. I will, of course, prioritize any supers as usual. Our channel members, if you are part of the Coys Collective, big up to you for sticking around. This is a roller coaster. And yeah, just to say, we're going to start with going through some comments. And just to say, I know that some of you were messaging me saying that you wish I'd mentioned some of your comments. Guys, I have to say, we have had hundreds, hundreds and hundreds of comments over the last couple of days, as you would imagine. I hope you guys can't hear the fan in the background, by the way. If you can, I can turn it down if it's, I don't know, causing any static or anything on the mic. So do drop me in the chat because I'll keep it open and keep an eye on it. But hopefully you can't hear that. But it's so hot, guys. So hot. Anyway, yes. So there's been loads of those comments. So I just want to say, if I haven't featured your comments, I will in future, of course, make sure that I can try and get as many comments up as I possibly can. So bear with me. Why is this? I think my laptop's suffering from the heat as well today. Right. Bear with me, guys. YouTube's doing something funny. What do you think about Peter? We went through the not all your comments are coming through. Okay, it might take a second. But Peter, I can see your comment, and yeah, we went through the letter and the statement in my video yesterday. So now that we've put that all behind us, I just want to say a huge thank you to you guys, because in the video yesterday, when I did the talk about the letter and just debriefing the game and everything, I asked you guys to hype the video. We got to the 32 top most hyped videos on YouTube. So big up to you all, and pats on the back to you for the community for helping us shove it in everyone's faces that we are staying in the Premier League next year. So big up to you all, and thank you all so much in the community for all of your support and just everything so far this season. Some of your comments didn't come through, but I think I've fixed it, hopefully. So maybe there was just a couple that I've missed, but I will go back to, we'll go back to some of these comments as well. I don't know why. Okay, so I'll dive in. Right, guys. First up, Hotspur Sam said to us, should we offer Lincoln a pre-season friendly at our place? And I think that's a very good idea, to Hotspur Sam. I think we should offer Lincoln, because they're really sad. They're really sad, these guys. We're not coming to the championship. And I should have mentioned yesterday that there were no Gooners coming over to congratulate us. How rude of them. How rude of them not to come across and wish us congratulations for staying in the Premier League after they wanted us to congratulate them on their title. So rude of them, honestly, guys. These Arsenal fans. But of course, Lincoln, why not? Have them over for a pre-season friendly. I'm sure they'd love to come to our stadium. R Mac RM said, as a Villa fan, I think Spurs fans owe us one for giving you the game at Villa Park as we placed our eggs in the Europa League semi-final basket against Nottingham Forest. Love the curly hair, by the way, never straighten it. Well, thank you very much for the latter. And yeah, thank you very much for the 3 points as well. We will take it. And also congratulations on your victory and now being the European winners of this season. So everyone said that we were going to do it last year, but hey, you guys also had a really good campaign as well, and you totally deserve to win the Europa League this season. So congratulations to you guys, and congratulations as well for your performance in the Premier League, because I think Villa have had a fantastic season. So well done to you guys. Mr. Mark N17 said, I'm a tea drinker, but I don't order tea at the stadium. I normally get something else, but got to ask, did they have milk and sugar this time? And guys, if you are new around here, you might have seen some of the match day vlogs. I hope I'm not lagging too much, but you might not have seen some of the match day vlogs, which were done very, very early on in the channel. And I was talking about the logistical nightmare that the Spurs operations have. And so I haven't actually had a tea at the stadium for quite a while because it's been so hot, to be completely honest. So I don't know if they have sorted out their logistics, but hopefully they sort it out for next season, because it is a bit of a nightmare at the stadium. And you would have thought that they want to get as much money in as possible. So it just shows you sometimes maybe they don't necessarily actually want to get as much money in as possible, because if they did, they would optimize their operations at the stadium. So yeah, hopefully next season they get everything sorted. Now, since we had a bit of a transition and we have had what I presume, and maybe, look, I'm not for everyone, right? So maybe some people decided that they didn't like my take on things, and so they wanted to leave the channel, and that's absolutely fine. Maybe they were championship teams, I don't know. But guys, we had Juventus fans, we've had Barcelona fans, Lincoln fans, Millwall fans, I said Juventus already. We've had Real Madrid fans. We've had fans from all over the world. I saw in the chat the other day there were some fans from Honduras as well. So big up to all of you for tuning into the channel. And I want to say a huge welcome to the Italian contingent. Club Foggia are now on the map, and they are now following Tottenham Hotspur. And as Maurizio Passione said, I think that's how you pronounce it, he said, I know him as a player for Foggia Calcio. I know him as a coach for Foggia Calcio. And I assure you that Gallo, and I don't know if that means like captain or manager. Maybe that didn't translate well, because this comment was in Italian. Said, doesn't fight harder than him. He's my favourite coach, the one all fans would want. Tottenham is his new home. I'll become a Tottenham fan, and above all, give him time to work brick by brick. I'd bet on the Champions League position next year right away. Great De Zerbi. He was needed to restore confidence and aggression to a team incapable of doing anything. Go Tottenham, go De Zerbi, and go Foggia. So welcome into all the Foggian fans who are now jumping in and following the De Zerbi journey. Big up to all of you jumping in the chat. Hello everyone. I will come back to the chat. Don't worry, I will come back to the chat. Hoddles Bootlickers said, hi Sarah, fantastic video. I was at the Man City away in 1978. We lost 5-0 and were relegated. Came straight back up and bought Ozzy and Ricky, and the rest is history. We didn't go down with crap players. We had the likes of Pat Jennings, Steve Perryman, and Glenn Hoddle. And I think maybe this was because my dad was saying that the team that we have now is better than that one, or something like that. So I can't really comment because I wasn't around. That was before my time. But what my dad was saying is that the squad that we have now is better than that one. So hopefully, we can improve and strengthen on what we've already got, and therefore we can take it through to next season. So big up to you. Chubb Bates said, I remember last time we went down, we had the likes of Ralph Coates, Barry Dianes, and Chris Jones playing for us. Nothing to bring you confidence. We didn't even get promoted in the first place when we got promotion at Southampton last game of the season. And that's, I believe, because we didn't finish top of the table. We went to the playoffs, I think. I was only 15 and at school. and I think my dad must have been around 15 as well. So maybe you're roughly the same age as my dad, maybe. And at school, so I wasn't earning cash. So I hitchhiked 200 miles plus to get to the game from Kettering when where I live, arriving in Southampton at 4 a.m. I even got into the game when we broke the gates open. About 300 of us at least ended up in the Southampton end. I wonder if anyone my age, 64, remembers that happening, or if they were the ones who got in there with me. Come on, you Spurs. Well, I don't know if my dad is watching. Seat next door. If you see a seat next door in the comments, that would be my dad. So I don't know if he remembers this happening, but he definitely did remember that game. I can't remember if he was talking about if this was the game where the goal was scored last minute and it managed to keep us up or something like that. We were losing until the very final minutes, something like that. But I'm sure some of you in the comments. Gallo is Oh, the gallows is the cockerel emblem. Oh, cool. Good to know. Thanks, Dominic. You guys know you're Italian better than I do. But yeah, maybe some of you guys remember these moments in our history. So I thought it was bringing back some nostalgia. Some of the comments were bringing back some nostalgia. Um, Richard, Montana Spurs, big up Montana, big up to you guys over in the States. He said, one of the highlights of the season was your breakout as a content creator. Thank you very much. Even if I do lag loads, even if I do lag loads and we have loads of problems. Thank you for bringing a breath of fresh air in the online community compared to the majority of the hyperbolic clickbait rubbish. It has been a really tough season, but being able to listen to your vlogs and summaries under such duress has likely prevented a seizure had I listened to those rage baiting clowns. Keep up the great work. Big up to you. Thank you very much, Richard. And there was loads of comments like this, so I definitely do appreciate you all. And yeah, I'm wiped. I'm wiped. I'm ready for a lie down, guys. But look, I love. I guess I'm doing this because I just love it. I just love it. I love football. It's something I'm really passionate about, and as much as I spent all day today on in the comments, if you click on the link, even if you don't vote in the tier list, you'll see screenshots of every single one of our players. So to the extent that I'm now operating this where I'm like literally going in and like, downloading every single player's face to put on a tier list. I never thought this would be my life, but here we are. Cheers, guys. Here we are. So yeah, that's been my day today. Right. James said, James Avenel 2368 said, not easy to describe one's association with a football club that is not one's hometown. I personally was influenced by my father, who loved Spurs' ability in bringing the FA Cup south of the Watford Gap. Twice in 20 years, back before and following the First World Conflict. The first time I saw Spurs was mid 1950s. Big up to you. I could not believe the football and was hooked and became a member of the old supporters club, progressing to life member because I knew I could never change my allegiance with this wondrous organisation. I enjoy football in general. I'm interested in a number of other outfits like Reading, hometown club, Woking, close relatives, the now defunct old Southern League side, Guildford City. And he said, but Spurs are magic. As I was a working class lad, I am not necessarily impressed with vast wealth and throwing untold clods at situation. Remember Sunderland doing that back in the 1950s. It did not work out particularly well. For me, it's more football astute individuals having a firm of coherent play of certain level for success. Brighton, Bournemouth as examples, not necessarily big name players at vast expense. Gone on too long, Sarah. Just to say, Spurs forever. I have 2 daughters, 2 sons, and a grandson infected as well. So we're all on the train. We're all on the train, James. But big up to you for supporting the team for so long. Look, respect to you all, because I know that, look, this is the life of a football fan, isn't it? It's the life of a football fan, and you embrace the highs and you embrace the lows. And as Maddison was saying in his post-match interview, the club don't deserve us. The fans don't deserve us. And we had people in the chat saying, come to the other side. It's not too late to start supporting Arsenal. It's not too late to switch sides. And we were always firm fans. And we were like, no, we're never switching sides. So big up to you all for seeing this one through as well, because, you know, it's Yeah, it's character building, as my dad told me when I was 6, 7 years old. When I was 6, 7 years old, my dad said, "It's character building, we don't win every game." So, it sounds a bit like Frank. Sounds a bit like Frank. But big up to you and your support for the club. Um, ooh, what have I done? Um, Rapscallion. Rapscallion said, "Hi Sarah, my squad prediction." Okay, so guys, if you are just jumping in, there is a link in the chat to have your vote on which players we should keep, buy, sell, loan, etc., in the comments. Rapscallion has already started their predictions. They've said, "Hi Sarah, my squad prediction, given that we have no Europe: Robertson, Udogi, Van der Ven, Danso, Senesi, Vuskovic, Porro, Spence, Bentancur, Paulinia, Gallagher, Xavi, Kudus with Madison, and one of Bergvall or Gray going on a top loan." Oh, okay. So either Gray or Bergvall going on loan. One staying. Players like Odebear. It would be nice if Roberto De Zerbi can look at them. And I don't think Odebear is planned to be back before December, guys. So keep in mind, Odebear is in the squad, but he's not going to be fit until, I would say, at least January. That would be my prediction. At least January, you won't be seeing him. So second half of the season, which means that someone like Odebear, we can't realistically sell. And I would say the same about Kulusevski as well. Everyone else should go. We need to throw it all at the attack. A dangerous left winger and that elusive goal scorer should be where our funds go. We need a number one, maybe Solanke or Richie stay for depth if we go large on starters to be realistic. Not ideal, but you can't have everything. Let's have a pre-season. Look at Lancashire too. Nice work. And big up to you. And I just want to say on this point is that we've got to remember, and I know as Spurs fans, we are so jaded by the whole situation with Enoch. We are so jaded by it all. We've heard the promises before, and we've got to remember that if this is what they say it is, which is going to be a huge rebuild, and they are going to do this properly this time and in a considered way, if we go on that premise, we have to remember that it's going to take at least 2 to 3 seasons to completely rebuild this squad. So I do agree that we do need a massive clear out. But I just want to focus on this summer transfer window. So who are the top priority players to go this summer? Not necessarily overall, because you can't replace everyone in one summer transfer window. It's not realistic, it's not possible, and it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. We're not going to sell 20 players and bring in 20 players. It's just it's not realistic. So to be realistic about the situation, we're going to have maybe 3 to 4 transfer windows, I would say, before we get the squad to a place where it realistically needs to be. So think of this as the first summer transfer window of the rebuild again. And we will come back. We will come back and talk about this and my opinions on Enoch and that whole conversation, the letter. We are going to come back to that a little bit later on. So bear with us. BLR Brazil, big up to you, said, "How nice to see the upbeat, optimistic Sarah back. Big up to you." Yes. I also enjoyed your match day vlog, which gave a valuable feel to the atmosphere of the game. I'm lagging so much, guys. It's really annoying me. Hope it's not annoying you too much. I agree with you greatly about needing a reset. The toxic element among the fan base has ruined so many seasons for us by creating a very negative atmosphere that's pervaded every aspect of the club. And I've got to say, BLR Brazil, I think that part of this is because the online sphere is very divided. And as the commenter very early on said, you do get a lot of no, I'm not going to say clickbait because social media is social media, but you do get a lot of extremist opinions and views for comments. Let's just say that. And I think that when you're actually on game day and when you see, and this is no disrespect to armchair fans because people live all over the world, and I respect you all, no matter what time of day, evening, early morning that you wake up to watch the games. But it is true to say that the feeling inside the stadium is very different. It is very different to what you see online. And that is one of, in my perspective, that's one of the reasons why when you have things like protests, they don't gain the same traction as what people think they will when they post online, because it is two different, I don't want to say it's completely different, but it's a different energy when you go to the stadium, right? Because you're there, the perception's different, the atmosphere's different, and you're going there to watch the game, not protest the board. So I think as fans, if we want our voices heard, we need to be more considered in the way that we put forward our opinions to the board. And as you guys know, if you are new around here, on this channel, I did an SOS campaign. And I said I was going to talk about it later, but since we're talking about this, I'll bring it up now. We did an SOS campaign on this channel, and that was an email activation that I instigated and facilitated to allow voices of the community to be heard by the board. We had over 300 emails sent to ENIC and the hierarchy of the club, so much so that Vinay had to change his email address 3 times. And I want to make a commitment to all of you now that I am giving ENIC this summer transfer window as an opportunity to show us that they have in fact changed. If by the end of this summer, because look, we can all be very hasty in saying that they haven't done a good job, but the reality is the summer transfer window hasn't even realistically got underway yet. And typically you want to see at the end of the summer transfer window and review it as a whole to see whether it has been good enough. And I want to make a promise to you guys now that if it isn't good enough and we don't feel like ENIC has truly backed the board, then we will reinstate and we will have that conversation around how we can reactivate the email campaign. And hopefully by that point, it will have more impact, because as the channel grows, we're going to have a bigger voice. And hopefully by that point, we can maybe restart the SOS campaign, or we can take a different direction. And I'm always open to suggestions from the community, because I can see your frustrations, particularly in the last video that I did talking about the letter and how you guys feel. And I'm also of your opinions that ENIC have not been good enough and they don't really deserve this other chance, but they are here to stay. There isn't anything we can do about it. And so we have to see the summer transfer window out, give them time to be able to do that, to back Roberto De Zerbi. And then when all is said and done, if we are in the same position, and, hopefully that's not going to happen, then we can revisit that SOS campaign and I'll put it out to you guys and we can take it from there. So let me know how you feel on that, because I don't want to spend the summer sitting here. Guys, I don't want to spend the summer sitting here just ranting and raving about ENIC. It's not really my style. It's beyond our control. We can't control it. And I'd much just rather they've said their words now. Now is the time for action from the board. So I'm willing to allow the board to show us, that through their action this summer. Anyway, I went off piece. Brazil said true supporters have always got behind the club and players, but now everybody has seen what actual support means and can achieve. I hope that will spread through the fan base and we can lift the players to exceed their personal limitations on a regular basis and we attain a new level success. Cheers to that. Cheers to that and achieving a new level of success. Yes, I'm on board with that. Wholly on board with that. Frederick said, big up to you, Frederick. I commented a couple of months ago about us at Everton going through this for 4 to 5 years. One constant during those times was the backing of the fans. It was incredible. Fans outside the ground for a couple of hours waiting to cheer the team as they arrived. Inside the ground was off the scale. Spurs didn't have that. And I've got to say, Frederick, we did have that. We did have that. Unfortunately, for 15 games, we lost, and that's why we lost it. But we did have it at some point. But once you go through winning 2 home games a season, it's just natural for people to lose faith. Because you can't have a lot of people find it hard to have faith in the unseen, you know? And as Javi Simmons said, now we just have to trust the process, right? So he's saying the fear factor kicks in. Yesterday, you got it spot on. The effort, the attitude was completely different to what had gone before. A massive amount of credit goes to De Zerbi. He's come in and made a difference when it was desperately needed. Thank you for allowing me to join your journey, and you are most welcome. I can see that there was some West Ham fans in the chat as well, and I haven't even spoken about West Ham, but my constellations do go to them because having been in that relegation zone and the prospect of going into the championship, we were dreading it. So I can only imagine that now it's actually happened and they've dropped, how it probably feels for them and their club. And being supporters of 2 clubs that needs an overhaul of their ownership, I empathize with the struggles of being a football fan. Yeah, I can't relate to being a West Ham fan, but I can relate to, you know, the feeling of being in that relegation fight and then having your board be a total mess, you know, and it basically being ultimately their fault. If we're going to look for blame, you know, they've got to take accountability, which I think they did do in the letter, but a lot of people said that. We've heard the words before. So, but big up to you as well. Where are we? Oh, where are we? Bernard. No, Benegard. Bernagard? Bernagard? Sorry, guys, if I'm butchering your names here. So apologies if I'm butchering your names. But Bernagard said, sacking Ange was the right decision, not even close. They sacked him because finishing 17th was inexcusable. We needed to be competing on all fronts. So said Enoch. Harry, Jose, Poch, and countless other managers got fired, even though we competed on all fronts. The NED spilled the beans today in this open letter, and I presume he means non-executive director. Investment in the football side of the THFC business enterprise was never their priority. Sacking Ange and the others was always the ploy they used repeatedly to hide their actual intentions. Tim Sherwood has the highest win percentage of all our managers. This morning on Sky Sports, he said that it was a mistake to sack Ange, winning manager. And just because Tim Sherwood said something, it doesn't mean we have to agree with this guy. I mean, I don't know. Your mate Stell, well, I don't know if Stell's my mate. I don't know if he would consider me his mate. The online world can be very deceiving. But yeah, no, look, I respect any content creator that is going to put their opinions out there, you know. But I don't know about mate. But yeah, big up to Stell. He said exactly the same thing, and so does at least half of the Spurs fan base. We can agree to disagree. It's just because the majority, I'm not, look, Bernagard, I'm not a sheep, as you might have noticed already. I'm not a sheep. I'm not going to follow the crowd. And just because people think that, you know, Ange shouldn't have gone, and because Tim Sherwood said it, my love for the club is more than my love for any other manager. So he said, so your 100% certainty about sacking Ange is rather curious. I never said I was 100% certain. The internet is very divisive. The internet is very divisive. Life lives most of the time in the grey area. So just take everything with a pinch of salt. He said, congratulations with the channel. I do wish you every success. Take every opinion with a grain of salt. And as I said before, I was the content creator, if you want to call me that. I was the person that started the SOS campaign against Enoch. So for anyone coming for me saying that I'm like an Enoch lover or whatever you want to say and being Angian or whatever, that's not the case. That is not the case. And last year, I did want Angian. However, I take your points on board. And I think this comment from Richard, big up to you, Richard, just articulated it so well, what I'm kind of seeing now. So Richard said, and I apologize to you, Richard, that I haven't replied to all of your comments or the members of the channel. But Richard said, Sarah, where do I start? I just want to thank you for starting your channel. It was something I was looking for. You were a calm voice in the storm of our season. Yes, you had your rants, but even in them, you pointed out things that some of us missed or we knew inwards but couldn't say out loud. Because of you, there is not much toxicity. And if you put them on their timeout, I would ban them. Looking for, oh no, maybe this one wasn't the one. Oh, maybe I screenshot the wrong one. Anyway, big up to you, Richard. Looking forward to EPs and World Cup if you do them. One last question: what England shirt did you get, retro or modern? This was not the comment I meant to bring up, but it's just a t-shirt. I didn't get the actual kit, but it's just a t-shirt that I've got because I haven't got the actual shirt at the moment. But big up to you and thank you for supporting the channel. I wonder which, this was the comment I was looking for. I'll come back to the others. This was the comment that I was looking for in regards to Ange. So, as I've said previously, everything's a spectrum, right? Everything's a spectrum, and we reserve the right to change our opinions at any point in time when we have new information revealed to us. And as Rob Padini said, big up to you. Sarah, your timing was divine and perfect. I have your channel. I was a huge Ange supporter and felt so let down by his sacking. I did not connect with any Spurs content creators before you started. There's a cynicism and negativity that permeates the YouTube airways for more viewers, blah, blah, blah. Your positive and measured word of mouth and preaching the love of our beloved Spurs is a manifested gift. Oh, thank you very much. This feels bigger. You're not delusional. A stallion must be broken to realize its full potential. That was us this season and was who we needed to show our potential quality and expose what needs to change. And this is now how I see the situation. You can't live in the place of saying that Anne shouldn't have been sacked when things weren't perfect. Because if we are, let's say, if we do have true ambitions to win the league, we need to be realistic about what needs to change. And Ange exposed this team. It exposed the lack of depth. It exposed the lack of squad rotation. It exposed our medical staff. And you can never achieve true aligned success if those things were broken in the first place. So I agree with Rob in that Ange revealed these things to us. He broke the system and showed us what we needed fixing. He said Roberto De Zerbi is who we needed to help us heal from the wounds that Ange opened in order to air it out. You are so right, Sarah. We needed this. And I agree. I agree with this. Ange exposed what was wrong and what needed changing. That's how I see it. So moving forward, we have to let go of Ange. We did finish 17th. We have to not ignore that. And at the time, I wanted Ange in. I said it. I wanted Ange in at the time. But 17th is not good enough. It created a loser mentality. It knocked these players' confidence. It instilled a negativity and divisiveness against the fan base. And if you want to achieve true success, you can't do it divided. And so for that reason, given the fact that people are so conflicting in whether Ange should have gone or stayed, whichever spectrum you're on, whether you loved him or you hated him, we have to acknowledge that when we look at the masses and we look at the bigger picture of things, if people are misaligned, it's never going to work. You are never going to get success. And De Zerbi has proven already his worth, and he now has credit in the bank enough for everyone to be on side with De Zerbi. And so I think we can now heal as a club going forward and, you know, stitch back up these broken wounds, hopefully. Clive said, your match day vlog was brilliant, Sarah. Thank you so much with the great match vlog with your lovely dad. You have such a great analytical view on the realities of the situation, and this carries on in this vlog, as it always done. Thank you very much. It's realistic understanding, and although we have been through such an awful season as a club, your positive attitude going forward, so good to hear. I know it was been a real challenge this season. I hope we can get the necessary change throughout the club to move forward and give the wonderful fans a club to be proud of throughout, with real honesty, understanding, passion and desire to aim for a team to consistently compete at the very top level. We have heard words before, but I hope all the words turn into reality. And Clive, We're all with you. We're all with you. We need to see the action now. I must say, I really worry about the ownership going forward and question the commitment to us as a football club. The club are nothing without the supporters. I really hope they understand that. Totally impressed with Roberto De Zerbi. Well done, Sarah, for all your quality content. Your passion for the club shines through. Thank you very much, Clive. And yeah, I agree with you. As supporters, we have been divided, as we just said. And so now's the time for coming together and for maybe giving Enoch this summer transfer window to show us what they've been telling us for all those years that we were under Daniel Levy, and now prove it to us under this new structure, because it is a new structure. We've been doing change for Tottenham for years, guys. We have been doing change for Tottenham for years, and now we had the change. The board changed. So we have to allow them to see it through. And I know people don't like that, but they told us in their statement they're not going anywhere. So, you know, I'm willing to give them this summer transfer window. And as I said, if by the end of it, we're going to start the campaign again. And next time it'll be even bigger, better, and stronger. If it comes to that. And that's my promise to you guys. To give you guys the voice. That's my promise to you guys, to give you guys the voice. If I have a platform, I've always said I want to use it for good. And so I want to be able to facilitate, having the voices of fans heard. How many more have we got? There's a few more, and then there's some bits that I want to go through before we go through the keep sell loan. My mind's gone. Actually, I might turn my fan off now. Oh, that's better. Bit quieter now. I might skim over these. A lot of these are very, very nice, by the way. But yeah, I did just sort of screenshot them at the time. Matthew said, thank you for being the eyes in the stadium for us fans who live outside England. You have been great giving us a feel for our fellow fans at home. I've been following the Spurs ever since the US has broadcast the Premier League. I had deep respect for Maurizio. He was the best. I have not felt that respect again until De Zerbi came into the picture. He kept us alive in the Premier League. Now we can't waste the progress that we have made in these weeks. Continue what you're doing, Sarah. Myself, along with others, are with you on this journey. Happy off season. And thank you very much to you. Big up to you watching from the States. And enjoy the World Cup this summer. Agent Tapser said, okay, I'm going to skim over some of these guys because they're very, very nice comments, but I want to get to the parts which maybe we can have conversations around. But big up, and thank you very much, Dad, as well, for being a good sport and being in the vlogs as well. He said, I think going into the new season, you have good cause to feel positive that at least you have some competent and passionate at the helm, even if it remains less than perfect above, below, and around him. He just gets it, doesn't he? He can pull others in his direction. And I agree. Look, if we've now got Club Foggia fans in the chat and the Italians are joining, what does that tell you? It tells you that people are committed to following his journey. In the same way that us as Spurs fans, we're following Son, we're following Kane. We had the Juventus fans come and join us when Igor Tudor got appointed. So, if loyal fans from those fan bases are joining, I think that's a good sign. And it gives me confidence and hope. I've been gripped by the story as it developed from your perspective, the way you're more reflective and nuanced, like with the Romero situation, rather than reactive is refreshing, the way you examine cause and effect. And yet everything is cause and effect, right? So sometimes we try and predict the future based on what's happened in the past. Everyone right now is predicting that this summer transfer window is going to be a disaster because that's what's happened in the past. And if I'm completely honest with you guys, I think the first signing is not going to be a player. I think the first signing is going to be a sporting director. I think the first signing is going to be a sporting director, and I don't have an ITK. I'm not in the know. I don't have anyone briefing me. I just get the sense and the feel that before we sign anyone, we need to get in a sporting director to help make these decisions. That would be my thinking, because the sporting director is going to be able to negotiate better. They're going to give a new perspective in the room. I've heard that Sebastian Kiel is second on the list. That's what Twitter was saying. So I don't know who the first sporting director is. But at the moment, I would say that whoever that sporting director may or may not be comes in before that whole period of change really, really starts taking place. So maybe they should have done it already. Maybe there's someone on the market they're trying to get in, but I would anticipate that announcement to be in the next week or so. And I'm saying that based on past of what's happened typically once the season's closed. Last year, Ange didn't get fired until a week after the season end. Some people were asking, is Vinay and Lange going to be here next year? The letter told us that yes, they will. I still have questions. I still have questions around whether they're actually going to stay. And so I don't want to be hasty in saying, yes, Johan Lang and Vinay are staying, because the truth of the matter is the letter came from Peter Charrington. The letter did not come from Vinay. And normally the letter would have come from Daniel Levy, and the previous letters have come from Vinay. So it makes me question why the letter came from Peter Charrington. And if Vinay was staying, why would they not put him at the forefront? Is it because from a PR optics point of view, they know that he's not liked? So I think there's bigger questions that remain to be seen, and those will be answered for us in the coming days. And I would expect by this time next week, certainly before the World Cup, we'll have a new sporting director, and then I think the transfers start. So that's just my 2 cents. I don't know for sure, but it's just what I think, how I think it's going to play out. You know, typically these things take time. They do. They take time. But yeah, I slightly went off piece. But if you guys are looking at the screen, you've probably read this one through anyway. But big up to you, Agent Tapster. Thank you very much for all your contributions. Ismadi said he was planning a sabbatical. But now we're in the Premier League. He's not having the sabbatical. He's in Singapore. Big up to you in Singapore. You've probably been waking up at all hours of the morning to watch this team lose week in, week out this year. So big up to you for getting up at all hours of the morning. And I know, look, fans from Honduras, there was a Taiwanese fan in the chat the other day. Singapore's joining in. So big up to you all from wherever you're watching, and for your love for this club as well. He flew 6,000 miles on Boxing Day to watch us get thumped 6-3 by Liverpool. Poor you. Poor you. I mean, I feel for you. I feel your pain. I only drove 2 hours, but I feel that. I feel it. Richard said, what a day it was. I spotted you and your dad. And Richard, you should have come and said hi. I don't know if you were in the chat today, Richard, but you should have come and said hi. We're friendly people. We'll always say hi. Everton came and didn't do anything until 66 minutes. They just lobbed the ball in. Apart from the shot that Kinski made, the top class save, Pickford is past it for England's goalkeeper. Worrying times. Maybe James Trafford is going to be the next one. I don't know. Love Roberto De Zerbi on the sidelines. Pocket of energy. Oh, I love him on the sidelines, guys. He's going to be such an entertainer next season. We've gone from Ange standing there with his arms folded, not doing anything, to De Zerbi, who's looks like he's about to take his shirt off when we scored. Did anyone see that? There was a meme going round of De Zerbi like taking his shirt off, like just as we scored, he was like about to run on. He was hilarious. So he's just such a passionate guy. I love the passion. I love it. I love it. He's now Tottenham, as the Club Fujian fan told us. Maurizio, I won't forget you, Maurizio. And Premier Italia. I don't know if Premier Italia watches the lives, but yeah, big up to you as well, because I'm sure you have some Italian intel that you can tell us from Roberto De Zerbi as well. The fans were brilliant. One word, relief. And exactly. Cool, guys. I'm going to come to the chat, and then I'm going to come back to some little bits. Actually, let me just check. See how many of you have voted. So there's 2 minutes, guys. There's 2 minutes left. That took longer than I thought, but there's 2 minutes left on the poll, which is pinned. We currently have 45 participant votes, 1,200 votes, guys. We have 1,200 votes on the players that we should keep, sell for next season. So I will be checking that after this next section. 2 minutes to get your votes in. I'm very quickly going to come to the chat, and then we're going to just very quickly run through what we have learnt this year and what we can take through to next season. Because, guys, and I'm doing this because I was listening to View from the Lane podcast this morning. Big up to those guys on View from the Lane. And I think it was Jack Pitt-Brooke who said at the end, we finished 17th last year, we finished 17th this year, and it's exactly the same. And it's not the same. Jack Pitt-Brooke, if you were looking for some research and you're watching this, it's not the same. We are 1 year on and we have learnt things. And as Roberto De Zerbi said, if we don't acknowledge what we've learned, if we completely erase all of the things that we've learned, then we've learned nothing. So we have to learn from these mistakes. But we have made progress if we learn from these mistakes. So I think that's what's very important to consider when we're going to look forward. What are you guys saying? I'm going to quickly jump into the chat. Can't see any super chats at the moment, but forgive me if I... Oh, well done. Dad, are you watching? My dad's just messaged me. My dad's just messaged me some breaking news. My dad has just... Thank you, Dad. Thank you, Dad, if you're watching. Breaking news. Hold on. Bear with me. Hold on. Sorry, guys. I will come back to the comments. I will come back to the comments, guys. The breaking news. Hi, Dad. Big up to you. I don't know if you're watching, but yeah. Breaking news is that Johan Lang's future remains in serious doubt. And guys, it's almost like someone was just listening to this. Was someone just listening to this from inside the club? Because I literally just said 5 seconds ago. I'm not even joking, guys. It's sometimes the divine timing of when stuff comes out is ridiculous. Because, yeah, as I just said to you guys, I expect the next signing to be the sporting director. And I have my serious doubts that Johan Lang and Vinay are actually going to stay. So here we have it. Here we have it. This is the current news, which is being reported by Alistair Gold, who says Johan Lang's future remains in serious doubt as Tottenham seek world-class sporting director. It's as if he was listening. Ali Gold, are you listening? Are you on a burner account in the chat? Are you on a burner account? Sporting director Johan Lang's future at Tottenham remains in serious doubt. Look, I'm not surprised. I've literally just said it to you guys even before this came out. I'm not surprised. I predicted the future. I don't care about being right. What's more important is that this club take this very seriously. So the speculation is that it looks like with 4 different head coaches, Lange has become the main voice within the club. This is what I was saying to you guys. He didn't do the letter. And Vinay didn't do the letter. We have to remember they always do the letter, and Peter Charrington did the letter. There is a reason why Vinay's name was not on the letter. They know the optics. ENIC know the optics. They're not stupid. They know the optics of how this looks, and they're trying to repair it. It's just that it's very, very hard. It's very hard to win fans back around, you know? What's he saying? The 53-year-old, blah, blah, blah. And I was thinking, guys, because we heard that Vinay had gone to Amsterdam. No, he'd gone to Hamburg. We heard that Vinay had gone to Germany. We heard that Lange had gone to... sorry, I'm muddling out my words. We heard that Lange had gone to Hamburg to negotiate with Vuskovic. That's what I meant to say. And I was thinking about this, and I was thinking, what if he didn't go to negotiate with Vuskovic? What if he was in Germany and he's making a move to Germany and he was looking at a new property, somewhere to live? You know what I mean? Sometimes these figureheads get spotted in the press and people think it's one thing, but we only know so much. So I'm thinking, maybe he's moving to Germany. Maybe there's a job out in Germany for him. Maybe he went there to go and look at a new property and it's got nothing to do with Vuskovic whatsoever. We don't know that. But I'm just saying that sometimes things aren't as obvious as they appear, right? But anyway, this is basically saying, I think this is just basically saying Lange's transfer dealings So he's not gone yet. The club's biggest senior signings in recent years. There's nothing really new. Look, this is positioned as breaking news. I don't think this is really as much breaking news as we're hoping for. That was assumed to include Lange, but Football London understands that while Vinkotesh remains part of the club's plans moving forward, there are those inside and outside the North London outfit who believe it is unlikely that Lange makes it through the year as the football figurehead for a horrendous season. Yeah, this is kind of what I said to you guys. I was thinking that maybe Lange goes, but maybe Vinay stays. I don't know. And I'm not saying I like it or not. I'm just saying that there is a possibility. There is a possibility, a world in which Lange goes and Vinay does stay. I don't know. Um, how are you guys responding to this in the chat? Um, what are you guys saying? Cheers. My tea is very orange because it's Thai iced tea, by the way. In case anyone's like, what she put in her tea? Why is it orange? Thai iced tea. I've gone authentic. Systemic Frog, big up to you. Have there been assassinations? No, none yet. None yet, although it does sound like Lange might be out the door very soon. What are you guys saying? New update, big up to you. Manchester fan, Man United fan, big up to you. Well done on getting Champions League next year. I think is this closed now? This is closed now, by the way, guys. This is closed. Voting's closed. We got in 54 participants, 1,200 votes in. So big up to all of you. We'll go through this shortly. We will go through this shortly. What are you guys saying? If the transfers are piecemeal, the Chat GPT letter. Spurs are a massive club, but keep up the great work, Sarah. I appreciate you. Thank you. Enoch plain and simply completely ignored the football. They've concentrated on the stadium and not the club. Big up to you all. Oh my gosh, there's hundreds of comments, guys. I can't read them all. What was the response to the Vinay and Lange? Oh, hello, banking. You didn't congratulate us. You didn't congratulate us on staying up. You gooners. You gooners. All about the glory, you lot. Don't even congratulate us. How rude are you? Joking. I'm joking. I get attention seeking. Whoever said that in the chat. I get attention seeking. I don't know what you got. I don't know. Sorry, guys. I don't know what's been said in the chat. I've had to skip over quite a few because we've got quite a bit to go through. James said Sebastian Kell is the favourite to be our next sporting director. I did read that, but I also heard he was the second. So I don't know who the first is. Need a striker. Okay, let's go through because we've still got to do the this. But I very quickly. How long we've been on? An hour. I do want to do very quickly before we do the comments. I just want to go through what we've learned because I feel like we just need to clear this out before we just start looking at the transfers and who we're going to get rid of. So the first thing that I think is really important is that money can't buy success. Being a financial coach, and for those of you that are new around here and don't know my alter ego, well, this is my alter ego, But this is my passion project, and my real life job, work, whatever you want to call it, is transformational coach, life coach, financial coach. I basically help people create alignment in their lives and get financially free and feel more aligned in what they do, get more confidence in their life, right? So one thing I have learned as a financial coach is that sometimes it's not about the money. It's not about the money. Look, it is about the money, but it's about what you do with the money. It's about the alignment. It's about how you're spending the money. It's not about what you spend. It's about spending it in the right way and building a squad which has two good players in each position. And what we've learnt over the past couple of seasons is we have a very bloated squad in some areas, like the midfield, and then we have no cover for right back. So, and we have no cover for left wing either, and we have no cover for right wing. So there's a lot of positions in the squad which need addressing, holes, but the money needs to be spent in the right way. So that's the first thing. And I'm going to whiz through these guys. So the second thing is that adversity can bring people together. And I think we've learnt this season that the relegation battle has, in a way, forced the fan base to come together. Because, look, we are divided. We can see that from these comments that I've just shared from you. We're all entitled to have different opinions. You're never going to get millions and millions of people singing off the same hymn sheet unless you're 10th year of Pep Guardiola's reign at Man City and you've won 20 trophies, right? So the reality is, until we have success, we're always going to be divided, right? That's just how it's going to be. So I think that through the adversity, what we learn from this is that the players, the manager, and the fans are now in this current moment connected. They are connected with each other. And so now we need to build from this place, right? We need to build from this place and recognize the hardship that we've been through and use that as a stepping stone to stand on the shoulder of giants, as what's his face? Frank was telling us last year. That's what his name was. I've forgotten it already. But yeah, we need to be looking at this as an opportunity, turning this adversity into opportunity and not making this adversity something which is going to hold us back for future. The third thing is that the right manager is going to change everything. And De Zerbi now has changed everything. The board need to stick with it now because we've seen the managerial roundabout over and over and over again. We're all fed up of it. We're all sick of it. We're all divided on it. And if the majority of the fan base, have seen that De Zerbi has now got credit in the bank, they are the majority of them on board with this manager, then, back him, basically, back the manager, because the manager can change everything. And this is the guy now to lead us forward. And look, it might be that this time next year we decide that, it's all gone to pot and whatever. But I think as a fan base, we also need to learn from throwing our toys out the pram and giving backlash to the club when everything goes wrong, and not blaming the manager. Because we've been here before. I'm sick of having this conversation about our bloody manager. Look, arguing about Ange and Frank and whatever. Like, I'm sick of having these conversations, I do like De Zerbi's style. He got us over the line. If he can do this in 7 games, give him 5 years. I don't know, give him 3 years. Look, because now we've been in the relegation battle. As long as we don't finish in the relegation battle anymore, give him 5 years. I don't care. And if that then creates the stepping stones to rebuild on this properly, it's not like De Zerbi had a completely different squad from Frank. I know he had different injuries, but it's not like it was a completely different squad. So we have to give him the chance. He's changed the belief, he's changed the standards of the club, he's reconnected everyone. And so we can only, as a fan base, forgive everything that ENIC have done if they show us that they believe in the new direction and actually put their money where their mouth is now. And that's what we have to learn. They have to learn from their mistake that they've done. We've learned that this team has a lot of character. And sometimes the character actually matters more than the talent, because we know that this squad does not have the number one talent. They are not going to be competing for the Premier League title. That is for sure. But, the pressure exposes people's limitations. That's what, if we are going to learn from the adversity of this season, we need to recognize that the pressure has exposed a lot of our players in that they do not have the resilience that is required. If you're going to go for top 5 next year, top 4 Premier League titles in future, what's required? You need people with top mindset. That is what we need. And we have recruited so badly. We've recruited players from Burnley, from relegation squads, left, right, and centre. Kudus might be a fantastic player. Talent might be great. But I'm not convinced that if Kudus was in the squad, he's a man that's going to help you get out a relegation battle, because he doesn't have that mentality. And I'm not talking about we need to buy players for our relegation battle. I'm saying we need to buy winning players. We need to buy players now with not just talent, but with the characteristics of a winning mentality. That is seriously lacking in this squad. The leadership is lacking. The winner's mentality is missing from these players. There is not one player, bar Romero, in this squad that has a winning mentality. They all won the Europa League last year. That's true. But that came at a cost. And so this pressure has exposed the lack in this squad of the leadership and the lack of the... Look, this season has been character building, right? It's been character building, as Maddison said in the post-match interview. But stakes were high, and we need players who are going to get themselves up for this for next season. You know, a lot of players were hiding this year. That cannot happen again. So we need to learn from this, and we need to recruit better. So mentality is something that statistics are never going to tell you. We can look at statistics all day long. What we need to be looking at is these players' attitudes, these players' mentalities, the logistics of it. You know, and I do think that De Zerbi is a guy that kind of looks at those things as much as he does the tactics, or I'd like to think so. You know, you can't just live off a tactics board, because football isn't played on the tactics board, it's played on the pitch, you know, and I think that's where maybe Frank underperformed at times, you know. The squad still needs major surgery. And when I say surgery, the big weakness of this squad is the medical team. The medical team really need a good, long, hard look and restructure. That's for sure. Medical squad needs a complete overhaul. It hasn't been signposted on this slide. Maybe I mixed up these slides, but survival should not be this end goal. We need to push on from here, and we need to be rectifying that medical squad, getting in the right physios, getting in the right mindset coaches, getting in the right equipment to help with recovery as well, you know. And even Maddison mentioned the pitch as well. I don't know if anyone saw the post-match interview on Sky. He did another one today, actually. But he said, you know, he basically said in so much words, we created a culture of blame amongst the dressing room. And he said, you know, people online were talking about the pitch and they were talking about the medical team. He said, but as players, we need to take responsibility, because there became a blame culture inside the dressing room. And so that goes back to the last point of the blame culture. And the reason why they didn't take responsibility is because they didn't have a strong enough mindset to take a look at themselves in the mirror and to say, we can do better than this. So we need physical overhaul, as in the medical team. And we need a mental overhaul in terms of bringing in players that have characteristics, character, mentality of winners, of maybe not necessarily winners, but like, you know, experience, being in their prime, you know, something that they can bring to the dressing room, which is not just being able to kick a football. I think that's really lacking within this squad. The fans are Tottenham's greatest asset. We learnt our power as a fan base. Look, guys, we did the SOS campaign, and I've put it here, I'm pretty sure. Yep. Fans are the greatest asset. So you can see here, 323 emails we sent March the 11th. Bearing in mind, guys, I only started my first live 3 months ago. 3 months ago today, I did my first live. So I know I've been on the channel 4 months, but first live was actually only 3 months ago. So big up to you for your support. But my point about this is that we need to remember as fan base how much influence we actually have. And as I said to you guys jumping in now, at the very beginning of this, I said, look, if there comes a point in future where we want to rerun the SOS campaign, we will do it and it will be bigger and better and stronger. So we are the greatest asset. We have to remember our power, but with great power comes great responsibility. And so we need to use that in the right way to have the biggest and best impact, because you weaken your argument, you weaken when you keep protesting the same thing, it loses its meaning, right? So we now need a kind of like a revolution within the fan base. We need to be re-energized as a fan base and remember who we are as fans, the influence that we have on this club, the influence that we have on the players to win a game and get out of relegation battle. And we deserve, to be treated that, with respect as fans. So we can't forget this will be remembered, that we did the SOS campaign, that we do have the power to change things, and we will use it if necessary come next season if we are not satisfied. And we also learnt that we discovered a new perspective. The new perspective being last season being trophy winners, winning Europe, and this season the adversity that we've come through the other side. So this season has reminded everyone that nothing is guaranteed. Roberto De Zerbi was asked in the press conference, can you guarantee that this is never going to happen again? And he said, no, I can't guarantee it. And guys, in life, there are no guarantees. There are no guarantees. Your destiny is in your own hands, and you have to do everything in your power to make sure it doesn't happen again and make it so. Look, football is very complicated. You can't make a guarantee that you're not going to be here again. That's not how life works. You just have to own whatever you can and make the changes where necessary. But as fans, we have now got the perspective of what it feels like being on the brink of relegation. And we now know that we never want to be here again. Never again was like the chant throughout the fan base. Even a lot of your comments were like never again. And I said it in the stadium. There was a sense, a feeling of we will make this never happen again. So there is almost this new perspective, a new responsibility that comes with that in up leveling our game so that we can finish higher next season and start competing at top level. And when I say top level, I mean like, winning things. And lastly, before we do the keep sell loan, the last thing is the rebuild already started, guys. The rebuild already started. We are saying that the rebuild is starting this summer. It's not. The rebuild started when we appointed Roberto De Zerbi. Staying up was the beginning of the journey. Now comes the rest of the work. That was laying the foundations. Now, what's different about this to what's happened previously is none of our managers were backed because they didn't prove themselves. Andrew was never backed because he finished 17th. Frank was never backed because we were losing games and dropping down the table. Pochettino wasn't backed because he was also losing games in his last season. So there was no manager that was backed realistically under Daniel Levy. Now we have the proof that De Zerbi can do it. So now is the real work starting, and we need to build on this. And on that note, guys, we're going to go back and we are going to go through your votes of who we are going to keep, sell, and loan out this season. So let me just have a very quick sip, and I'm just going to come to the comments. Breaking, Alistair Gold has just announced that Johan Lang will stay. Is he? Is he? Because we literally just looked at this. This is by Alistair Gold, and it was published 2 hours ago. Alistair Gold reporting Johan Lang's future remains in serious doubt. So I don't know where you're getting this from, Obito. Where are you getting this from? Where are you getting this from? How can we be winners with the loser mentality and board owners? We need to get rid of this loser mentality, Scott. Get rid of the loser mentality. We're not going to be losers anymore. We are not going to be losers anymore. We're survivors. We have to see this now. We're survivors. We survived it. We did it. We're not losers. We didn't go down. We didn't go down. We survived it. Life coach and a Spurs fan. Oh my God. Yep. I haven't mentioned it for a while, but like, yeah, if you are new around here, I've realised, I don't know, we've had like 500 people join the channel in the last 24 hours or so. So if you are new around here, maybe you're not so familiar, but yeah, yes, I am a transformational life coach, mindset mentor, financial coach. What else are you guys saying? Kulusevski is back in training. That's promising. Thanks for clearing that up to the person. Thanks for clearing that up to the person who has no problems with me in the chat. I don't know, new update. I don't know what's going on in the chat. Sorry if people are annoying you. Richie is contract ends next summer. What about the pitch? Madison said we can't blame the pitch, is what Madison said. Madison said we need to stop blaming everything on other people and we need to take responsibility as players. So he mentioned it's on Sky Sports on YouTube, the interview that Madison did, and he mentioned he mentioned we can't blame the pitch. He said, look, my injury was a really serious one that happened in Asia. So, you know, yeah, look, I still have my theories. You guys know that I have my theories. And for the person that just said life coach, yeah, because the mindset, your mentality can affect your physical state and your physical being and your nervous system. And that was my theory why we had so many recurring injuries. So I didn't look, there might be truth to all of it. There's truth to all of it. All different, everything can be true. Nothing's mutually exclusive, right? Fans need to embrace the now and stop living in the past. Future could be bright if we back our manager. Yeah, we need to look forward, Paul. We need to look forward. Look, I get it. People are frustrated. We're jaded by the whole situation. It's so frustrating. But if you want to move forward in life, you have to let it go. You have to let it go. We don't like it, but they're not going anywhere. So what's the point? What's the point? What's the point? We've had our rants, we've had our protests. They've told us they're staying. They had change last year. They got rid of Daniel Levy. So this year has been one of change. It's been one of transformation. And transformation is never easy. It is never easy. The thing is that people just get comfortable. And you have to remember that to make things comfortable again, you have to go through the period of uncertainty. And we have had the period of uncertainty this season. So you know, it is a tough one to take, but you have to clear it out and make space for the new and just say, okay, look, Enoch, they're not going anywhere. They've told us they're staying. We're going to trust them. And if come this time in August, that they haven't got the signings, or September, if they haven't got signings over the line, then we will do another email campaign. And I think that probably has more impact than protesting on the street, because no one notices the protests on the street. You guys saw the flag that was up in the stadium, you know, and there's a fine line between not taking the toxic negativity into the stadium, which has affected the performance, and part of the reason why Spurs have underperformed this season. I'm not blaming the fans. I'm saying it's become a vicious cycle. It's become a vicious cycle we haven't been able to get out of. So, yeah. Oh, there's more breaking news, guys. More breaking news. Oh, the breaking news. Luka Vuskovic is expected to sign a new deal. That's the breaking news. And then go back on loan to Hamburg. Okay, so he's expected to, apparently Vuskovic is expected to go out on loan and, new deal and then go back to Hamburg. But yeah, we have to clear it out. I know there's negativity. We all feel the same way. I bloody hate Enoch as well, but I love Roberto De Zerbi. And if they don't know what they're doing, hopefully De Zerbi does. And he has enough weight. De Zerbi now should have enough weight to have influence. De Zerbi is the most influential guy at the top of the club right now. De Zerbi is the most influential guy at the top of the club. because they should be bowing down to this guy and doing whatever the hell he wants. Give this guy the sun if he wants it. Bring back Sun. Bring back Son. Give him the sun. Yeah, but no, really, De Zerbi should be getting everything. Sarah for team coach can see it as a professional and a fan. Big up to you. Northamptonshire, big up to you, Luke. Big up to you. My sister's in Northampton. Hire Sarah for life coach. Yeah. Bring on Sarah's dad on the fan advisory board. Yeah, bring him on. I'm sure he'd love to have his say. I'm sure he'd love to have his say. Unfortunately, though, from what I understand from other content creators is the fan advisory board don't really invite content creators on. So I think this is the thing. I think content creators also have a bad rap in terms of the relationship that the content creators have with the club, which I think is really sad. I think it's really sad. I mean, I know at times even I've, had my rants and everything, but there needs to be a new bridge and a new alignment. And I feel like they need to work together with the content creators, not against us. I say us, but no one's reached out to me. No one's, had any conversations with me. I don't even know if people are watching my channel. Sometimes people might love it, sometimes people might hate it, but we're all human and we all go through the emotional roller coaster because that is football. So yeah, if anyone's watching from the fan advisory board, call me up. You know our CRN numbers. You know our CRN numbers. You know where we sit in the stadium. You can see my match day vlogs. So yeah, bring it on. Bring it on. We just want the best for our club. That's the truth. We want the best for our club. Sell the club if they haven't got the ambition. Maybe they're happy farming. Apart from the Oilers, City and Chelsea, Man U, Liverpool, then Arsenal, Spurs are the next no season for not trying to compete. The club do have the ambition. The club do have the ambition. They don't have the know-how. That's what it is. That's what it is. They have the ambition. These guys have been with this club for 25 years. I know we hate it, but they are like they are loyal ownership. They are loyal owners. They are. This is not like a Newcastle which was bought out by the PIF or whatever. This is not Saudi money. This is not we're not Man City that was bought out by big oil money. This is a family who over the generations have made their billions, and Spurs is their true love, and they are all invested and all in on trying to make this work. Unfortunately, up until last year, they had Joe Lewis, an 89-year-old guy, along with Daniel Levy, who'd been here for too long at the helm, who were controlling this club. And so this is a new era. We have, even though the name on the checkbook is the same, we have to see this as a new era. And unfortunately, whether we like it or we lump it, this is why I'm saying we can be on board with it, but we need to have influence as a fan base in the right way and work with the club rather than against them. Because if we're misaligned, we're never going to succeed. And I'm sure all of us would love to see us win something again in our lifetimes. We would all love to have that day in Bilbao all over again. I'd love it, you know? Yes. Yeah, all the content creators knew about the SOS campaign. They all knew about the SOS campaign. It's really, how can I put this? Everyone's on their own journey. Everyone's working towards their own objectives, let's say that. So I can't control whether other content creators want to come together and create the unity. For me, I can only speak for me personally. And for me personally, the success of the club comes before my success, because this is still a passion project, right? It's a passion project. So for me, the priority is, giving the fans a voice. And I am glad that I started doing these lives, because it gives you guys the opportunity to have your voices heard. As I've said, I'm sure maybe not right now, but there are definitely people watching from the club. So, if we give rise to that voice, hopefully the community can have more power, not just the content creators. If you know what I mean? Does that make sense? I don't know. But yeah, look, everyone saw it. Everyone's watching from afar in the same way that I don't necessarily watch every single video from every other content creator. You know, we're all watching from afar, you know? We're all reliving these moments together. We're all in it, in the same boat, you know? A couple more, and then guys, we're going to go to back to the transfers and have a conversation around that. Big up to you, Martin. Yeah, we can now breathe. There is a lot of toxicity. Yeah, but look, the club has made us like this. The club has made us like this. And I'm not blaming anyone. I'm not blaming anyone. I'm really not. And I'm not pointing the finger and I'm not saying any names because even me at times, I've been toxic. Or some people would say I've been toxic at times. You know, I came out 2 days before the game was played and I was explain to everyone how the situation has got to where it is. So some people didn't like that. So everyone's on their own journey and we all see things differently. It's so hard to bring everyone together. At the core of all of this, I personally want to see us win something else. That's it. That's the bottom line. I want to see us win something else. I'd love it to be under De Zerbi. I want to see us back in Champions League football. That's the reality of it. You know, I want to see us maybe win an FA Cup, you know, get further in these cup competitions. That's it. You know, we want to see good football. I want to enjoy the football. I don't want to come home every weekend and be crying about the fact that we're falling down the table, you know? So I understand people's frustrations because having been a content creator for only 4 months, this season will do it to you. It will do it to you. So it's a catch-22, you know? Exactly. Yes, Scott, exactly. Exactly. The way that the club treat the fan base, it's their own undoing. So now we have to heal it. We have to try and heal that. And I don't know look, I'm open. If the club want to email me and the club want to contact me, I'm open to it. I'm open to it. But it's got to be empowering. You know, a bit like De Zerbi has come in and empowered the players. The fans need to feel empowered as well. And at the moment, the fans are so disgruntled because they feel like they're disempowered. You know, so you've got to give people a voice, not just the select few that you want to hear from, and inviting the people that you want in the room on the fan advisory board, because that's creating the echo chamber, and the club have created the echo chamber for themselves. So yeah, it's a tricky one. There is no right answer. There is no right answer. Yeah, I agree with this, James. Big up to you. De Zerbi was obviously given guarantees when he joined. Yeah, and how many times have we heard that? We heard that about Romero. He was given promises. So same thing. Romero was given promises and he got the Europa League, and then they didn't back him. So I'm just going off the basis that Daniel Levy is not here. Are they loyal ownership? Are they even football fans, or are they money fans? I think they're all three. I think they're all three. It's no easy job running a football club, and I think if they would have given up, then they would have sold when they let go of Daniel Levy. Honestly, if they didn't care, they would have kept Daniel Levy and they would have sold their majority stake. So it depends how you look at it, you know. That's how I see it. If they weren't that on board with it and weren't that invested to it, it's so much emotional investment. These owners, they come every game. They come every game, and I know people hate it and we all laugh at them in the stands, but what would you rather? Would you rather that, or would you rather someone sitting in Qatar, you know, with oil money, who doesn't have to give two craps about the club, who's just going to pump in money but like not really care or be invested in the club at all? You know, so it's a tricky one. It's a tricky one. The grass is always greener, you know, but it is what it is. It is what it is. But yeah, look, if Enoch go, then it has to be to the right. It has to be to the right sellers, you know, and these things take time. They take years to wrap up. So they might be gearing for a sale in 5 years' time. And in the meantime, we need to get ourselves back to Champions League football. That's it. We need to get ourselves back to Champions League football. They pretend to have ambition. Maybe. I don't think you can pretend to have ambition. How can you pretend? Can you pretend? Can you pretend to have ambition? I just think they've been misguided. I think they've been. What I think happened was Joe Lewis was aging. I think that he stepped away. In that time, it was given to the kids, the trust, the family trust, and I think they thought that Daniel Levy was doing a good enough job. And then when they realised what a mess it was actually in, they then took action, and there's been this transition. This transition wasn't just when Daniel Levy was sacked. That decision was made years ago. You know, it would have been made like a year ago, and there would have been a process behind the scenes that happened to get him out of the club, which one of those things was hiring Vinay, right? Even though that might not have been the right appointment, they're learning a lot about the club, as Peter Charrington said. So I don't know. I don't think you can pretend. I think you just maybe missed the mark. I think they just missed the mark, and they misread the room, and they misread where they were. I think because they had the new stadium, they were like, yeah, everything's going to sort itself out. Daniel Levy's got everything under control. And then they were like, crap, we finished 17th, or we're falling down the table, and Ange Postecoglou's, you know, creating division among the fan base. And so now's the time to get rid of him. So I don't know. I don't know. We're never going to know the whole truth, are we? We're never going to know the whole truth. How many games did Joe Lewis attend? I don't know. He'd been there for 20 years. So back early on, Joe Lewis and Daniel Levy were the two in the Chiefs box. In the director's box, it used to be Joe Lewis and Daniel Levy back in the day in the old stadium. In the old stadium, but because of what came before that in the old stadium, with the directors' boxes being built as an add-on for more money before the Levy era and the Lewis era, they created a separation and a division between the directors and the fan base at the time. And I think that is when this was back in like the 90s. This is like the late 90s. So Enoch bought the club in like 2000, 2001. And during that period before, where we had Sugar, there was like a disconnect because they tried to turn it into a money making machine, and they built the directors boxes. And so there was this sense of like the ownership and us, whereas like in the new stadium, the directors are sitting front row at the forefront. They're not hiding in a box anymore. So I think in the new stadium, that gave the opportunity to change the perception of things. Whether it's worked or not, I don't know. But it is true to say, even if he wasn't spotted at the old ground, he was definitely there. He was definitely there. They are interested in money. Well, yeah, business is money, but I would also say that the more success you have, the more money you make. The more success you have, and the more aligned you have, the more they're going to make. So they admitted in that letter that the priority was not the football, and the priority was elsewhere. So we just have to hope that they learn from it. Right, guys, there's loads of you. So let me big up to you all in the chat. Who's saying they're a gooner now? Eventually, evening or got home from work to find a multitude of in the know and other stories already. Yeah, look, I'm waiting for the announcement of the sporting director. It's nothing. These in the knows should be obvious. These in the knows should be obvious. Like, for example, you know, Enoch getting rid of Vinay Laj. Not necessarily. You can still be a terrible businessman and still be a billionaire. Wouldn't people argue that Trump is a good businessman though? Wouldn't people argue that Trump is a good businessman? Look, it depends. It depends what you define as good business. You know, it depends what you define as good business. In terms of football, good business would be seeing the team succeed. And speaking of which, I don't love Enoch either, guys. I don't love Enoch either. And if you've just joined, as I said, and I'm going to keep saying it, because first of all, please do like, subscribe, comment, and share. If you are joining now and you are new around here, please do like, share, comment, hype, whatever, all that stuff, because it helps the channel. But as I keep saying, guys, I'm giving the board grace, and I know people don't like that word, but at the end of the day, we did an SOS campaign. 323 emails sent to the board. They responded by sacking Tudor. We have to remember, we don't think maybe on the surface that those emails made a difference. However, in that month, 300 emails were sent and they did sack Tudor and they did get in De Zerbi. So you can look at it in two ways. They didn't care, they didn't make any changes. Or you can say, actually, they had 300 emails from us in the community. They saw what we were talking about and they got rid of Tudor and they brought in De Zerbi. Who knows? Maybe they would have kept him. And I actually think that campaign started under Frank. I actually think, when did we start? March the 11th? Yeah, no, Frank was sacked before then, wasn't he? Was he? Frank was sacked before then, I think. Can't remember. But anyway, whenever we did it. Yeah, this is business, Wolf. This is business. Life is not linear. Right? It's feast and famine. It is. Look, as a money coach, I can tell you, as a financial coach, nothing in life is guaranteed, and nothing stays the same. If things stay the same, you're not growing, you're not evolving. So if you don't take risk, there is no reward. And so sometimes when you lose money, that is the risk and the reward is on the other side. What people don't realize about bankruptcy is these people have multiple streams of income, because this is how millionaires make money. And this is why the majority of people around the world are not educated properly about how to be financially free and how easy it is to actually do, so it's layered. Look, if people are interested in it, we can talk about it maybe at another time and talk more about like the money mindset side of things. And it's also our perceptions as well, right? We see things through our lens. So our experience of money as well can have an impact on the way that we see things. For example, if you've ever had a huge loss in your life, if you've ever lost a business or you've lost something in your life, our perception of money can be projected as well. Money is a very nuanced topic. Anyway, guys, I've lost some of you, so let's go into the votes. Let's do the votes. Cool. Right, we'll park that for another day. So the voting has closed. There were 54 participants, 1,200 votes, and I'm very quickly going to go through the keep, sell, loan, buy, and under 21s academy. So there are obviously a mixture of players here, because I don't know, why is this saying your list? Oh, am I supposed to make a list? Oh, maybe I should do it very quickly. Maybe, is that going to work? No. I knew there was going to be something. Save? No? I don't know. Anyway, guys, right. It's really annoying. It's not going to go through the players in order. Maybe I'm going to have to like do them in order. I don't know. Okay, we can see the overview. Okay, so this is the majority. There are currently 46 players. Currently 46 players in total at Spurs that are either part of the first team, part of the men's first team squad, out on loan, and the under 21s academy, which were all the players that I put here. Um, the under 21s players, I didn't include in this. So this is based on like the majority of all of your votes. Maybe the average vote. What's the difference between the average vote? Maybe I'll look at the average rather than the I'll look at the average rather than the most votes. So we've got Keep, Kinski, Xavi, Gallagher, Mickey van der Ven, Madison, Spence, Kudus, Bentancur, Danso, Porro, Udogi, Kulusevski, Paulinho, Gray, and Odebear. On the sell, you guys have voted to sell Bergval. That's interesting. Sell Bergval. I wonder if on the average. Okay, so on the most votes, in terms of like the most votes, you guys said keep Bergval, but maybe Bergval, there's a question mark around keep or sell. Who else? Austin. Austin, Tell, Vuskovic. Okay, so there's some players that have divided people. But Bergval, so I'm going to write these down. These are the question marks you guys have. Bergval, keep or sell. I'm surprised some of you didn't say Bergval on loan. Tell is a question mark for keep or sell. Oh, that's why some of you were saying in the comments you voted sell, but you meant loan. Some of you were saying in the, this was a snap poll. What does that mean? What does snap poll mean? Is that good? Is that good? But some of you were commenting earlier that you said sell in this, but you meant loan. So maybe that's why. Some of you have put here sell Vuskovic. I think some of you mean loan. I think some of you meant loan. Some of you said keep Vuskovic. So the news that just came out whilst we've been doing this is that Vuskovic is going to get a new contract and he is going to go back out on loan. That was the rumours that we heard about 15 minutes ago. But you guys also said based on the average votes, Austin sell, Solanke sell. Interesting. You guys also said Saar sell, Romero sell, Davis sell, Bissouma sell, Dragusin sell, Richarlison sell, Sousa sell. Oh my gosh, guys, we're gonna have no one left. Oh, Moani sell, Solomon sell, Vicario sell. Bloody hell, guys, we're gonna have no one left. We're gonna walk in pre-season like, hey guys, who's coming pre-season to Australia with us? And like 20 players aren't gonna be there. Mikey Moore sell. I think guys that Mikey Moore, people meant to vote that one keep or loan. So I'm going to assume some of these are loan. Scarlett sell, Valise sell, and on loan, a lot of you put the academy players here. Kota Takai, you guys have put loan. These are all some youth players. So you've got Tyrese Hall, Maguire, Iro, Phillips, Abbott, Ajayi, Akramovich, Donnelly, Dorrington, and Alfie Devine. So they are the majority of those ones there in the loan. So very quickly, guys, in case some of you were not here from the very beginning, we can cross-reference which some of you have said. I can see the chat, so big up to you all. Big up to you all in the chat. Yeah, let me know, guys, what you reckon to this. So, in terms of... Oh, where's my window gone? Here we go. In terms of these players, how can I do... Right. I'll go through these again. And based on what you guys have said, we're having a massive clear out. I'll cross-reference back to what you guys have said. So, for me, Kinski keep, Vicario sell, Austin, I'm not really sure about, but we need another goalkeeper. So I'm going to keep him as keep for now. And I did try and reorder this for you guys, but for some reason it didn't let me reorder it. So I don't know why it didn't let me reorder it. But anyway. Pedro Porro for me keep. Jed Spence for me keep for now. Romero for me, he can go. He can sell Romero. Vicario selling to a club on Mars. What are you guys saying? Kinski keep. Austin sell. Oh, some of you are saying Austin sell. Some of you are saying Austin sell. Maybe Austin's a maybe. Maybe Austin's a maybe. Look, you need goalkeepers. We do have Gunter as well, but Gunter currently plays for the under-21s, the academy. So maybe it's a bit too soon to be talking about Gunter to be joining. I'm going to park Mickey until the end. Oh gosh, no, I can't park Mickey till the end. We've got to make a decision. Austin sell, you guys are saying get rid. Porro sell, Spence. Okay, Sar sell, Porro keep. Yeah, Romero, obviously. Mickey van der Ven. Let me know what you guys think about Mickey van der Ven. What did you guys say? So in the average vote, you guys said sell Austin. You guys also said, I would imagine Romero goes. I would imagine Romero goes. Yeah. Mickey van der Ven. Where did you guys place Mickey? Where did you guys place Mickey? Trying to see where Mickey is in this. Why is Mickey not on here? Am I missing him? Oh, there he is. You guys said keep. Majority of you said keep Mickey. Majority of you said... Oh, here we go. I can do it from here. The majority of you said keep Mickey. I hate the fact that this changed the order. That is so annoying. That is so annoying. Where's Mickey? Why did it change the order? I can't do it. It's too small. Right, my eyes are gone. Okay, I'm going to go with keep for Mickey. The majority of you said keep in the vote, in the public vote. Some of you are saying Van der Ven, get rid. The vote said, most of you said keep. Most of you said keep. Here he is. 96% said keep. In the so this poll was just live for an hour, guys. This poll was just live for an hour, and 96% said keep. Look, it's a small sample size, but I'm going with what the majority said. So we're keeping Mickey van der Ven. Danso, I think he's good as a backup. Dragusin, sell. Udogi, sell. For me personally, Udogi is not fit enough. What did you guys say about Udogi? Where is he? Where's Udogi? These pictures are so small, guys. You're like looking at my forehead. Here he is. You guys said 86% of you said keep Udogi. 86% of you said keep. 10% said loan. I think Udogi needs to be sold. I don't think he's fit enough. I think he's a good enough player, but I don't think he's good enough for me personally. Danso, you guys said 91% said keep. I agree with that. Ben Davis. Ben Davis. That is a tough one, Ben Davis. Ben Davis, 81% of you guys said sell. 81% of you guys said sell Ben Davis. 13% said keep. I think you have to... I think you keep him. I think you keep him, but you reinforce him. Sousa has to go out on loan. For me, Bentancur, you've got to keep. João Paulinho, I think we sell him, but I think we should keep him. But João Paulinho, I think we end up selling him. You guys have said João Paulinho. 77% said keep. 70% of you said keep. I'm saying sell just on the basis that I don't think we were going to buy. Look, I'd love to keep him. Look, okay, let me do this. If we, in an ideal world, do we keep him? I'll put him in keep. Do I think we will? No, I think we will get better. I think we will get better than João Paulinho. Bissouma, sell him. Archie Gray. Archie Gray. What are you guys saying on Archie Gray? 23% said, 79% of you said keep Archie Gray. 17% said out on loan. So we keep him. He's squad player. Bergvall was very mixed. He's going to be the easiest one to find here because Bergvall is going to be the guy with blonde hair. Here he is. 72% said keep, 19% said loan. I think you'd probably keep him in the squad. What are you guys saying in the chat? Gray, a lot of you are saying Gray keep. Can't keep what you don't own. Yeah, maybe we should. Maybe I should put Paulinho in the... That's true. That's true. So based on that, that's true. That's true. Let's put Paulinho in the buy. Paulinho goes in the buy section. Bissouma buy. Bissouma's contract comes to an end. Yeah, thanks, guys. Bissouma's contract comes to the end. So I think Bissouma goes. Pat Matassar, for me, sell. Gallagher, keep. Madison, keep. Xavi, we have to keep him. Xavi, we have to keep him because he's not fit. Kudus, we have to keep him because he's not fit. Kulusevski, we have to keep him because he's not fit. We have to keep them because they're not going, guys. They're not being sold. Xavi, Kudus, and Kulusevski. Kulusexy, as the X account is called. Odebear, we also have to keep him because he is also not fit. Tell, I think you keep Tell, but we need another left winger. We need a reinforced left winger. And I think not in this transfer window, but I think in next summer's transfer window, Tell has one more season to prove himself. And I think if by the age of 23, Tell is still 20, he's really young, Tell, he's a young guy, but I think, or is he just turned 21? He might have a birthday soon, Tell. But I think if by next season or the season after that, if he's not really seeing his full potential by that point, then we get rid of Tell. What did you guys actually say on Tell? You guys said, I wish there was a way to like label these players because it is very annoying that they're so small, but I didn't create this. Oh no, who did I just say? I said Tell, not Sar. I tried to put them all in order, but decided, here we go, there he is. Yeah, there he is. 70% said keep, 10% said sell, 15% said loan. I've put him in keep for now. You guys are saying Kelly. Who's Kelly? Alone is a good... Oh, Callie. Hi, Callie. You guys are saying Tell keep. Yeah, squad player. Tell we keep a squad player. This is a very quick rundown, guys. Kolo Muani, as someone said in the chat just now, can't keep what you don't own. He's being sold. Richie, go and sell. I'm curious, what did you guys say about Richie? Richie, you guys said 83% of you said sell Richie. 83% of you said sell Richie. I will go with that. In terms of Solanke, oh, that was closer. 59% of you said sell Solanke. 38% said keep. That's quite low, guys. That is quite low. But I do think that we keep him. Let me just minimize this. I think we do keep Solanke. You need a squad. You need a squad. What are you guys saying? I'm catching up in the chat. You guys said Richie sell. Bye big bye Abito. Bye. See you next time. Richie. Richie sell. Yeah, Richie's contract is up next summer anyway. Solanke buy. A lot of you are saying Solanke buy. It was very mixed on Solanke. We need a squad. Put it this way, guys. Put it this way. Nobody buys Solanke. Put it this way, guys. Next year, we have no European football, okay? So we need, think about it this way. We need a full 24-man squad, first team and second team. First team, we play in the Premier League. So my question to you guys is, would you play Solanke in a squad with Bergvall Gray in the FA Cup or the Carabao Cup? For me, I think yes. That's how you got to see it. You got to see it like he's not going to, let's say he comes on last 30 minutes, last 25 minutes of the game. He hasn't had a full fit season. And I think Solanke deserves a shot of staying, and he can have first team minutes for the FA Cup and Carabao Cup. And then for match day squads, hopefully you reinforce the striker position, you get someone better than him, and then you can rotate the squad. But I think on a good day, Solanke's decent enough. I think you can't get rid of all of your strikers. We can't get rid of them all. Maguire, he's loan player. For me, Yang Min Hyuk has been out on loan. For me, Yang Min Hyuk goes on loan again. I don't think he's ready to come into the first team. This is where my knowledge is going to be tested, guys. This is where my knowledge is going to be tested based on these pictures that are very small. On the youth players. Will Lancashire. Oh, Will Lancashire. How old is Lancashire now? How old is Lancashire? How old is he? Is he ready? Guys, do you think Lancashire's ready? Okay, here's a question. If you were to put that FA Cup Carabao, let's say the Carabao Cup, would you play Lancashire a striker next season? After the season he's had? Started 68 games, played 68 games, started 46, 52 goals. He's 21. He's 21. Do we keep Lancashire? He's 21 now, guys. He's 21. He's had a really good season. His stats are decent. He was great for Oxford. Target for loan clubs. Maybe he will go back on loan. Latest news. Target on loan clubs. Maybe he does go back out on loan. Lancashire, I'm not sure. Given the situation, I think it depends who we buy. What do you guys reckon on Lancashire? Actually, what did you guys say in the vote? On the vote, okay, 62% said loan, 19% keep. Majority of you said loan. Okay, I'll go with that. Loan him out. And that means next season, you've got 2 spots for, you've got 1 spot to buy a new striker. We need to buy a new striker. Some of these players, guys, I'm not so familiar of like who they're currently playing for. So, who have we got? Who is left? Ashley Phillips. Ashley Phillips. Is Ashley Phillips ever going to be good enough to start for us? What did you guys say? Where is he? No, Matt Shavy. There he is. You guys said loan. But guys, if Phillips, is he on this page, Phillips? Or is he under the, he might be under the first team, Phillips. He might be under the, so with Ashley Phillips, one of the things I'm not sure about, is he ever going to get into our first team? Let's be realistic. If these players, and if we're doing a massive clear out and we're starting again and we're rebuilding this squad, why would we keep him if he's never going to play first team? If we need better than Ashley Phillips, what's the point? A lot of you said loan him out. A lot of you are saying loan him out. He's 20. Okay. He's 20. We can loan him. We'll put him on loan. He can go in the under 21s. Mikey Moore, I think out for another season on loan. What were you guys saying on Mikey Moore? And for those of you just jumping in and joining, this vote we did earlier in the live stream. We did this vote earlier in the live stream. It's been up for an hour. So we had just over 50 votes. Phillips on loan, some of you are saying. Lancashire would have loved at Oxford. Phillips loan. Okay, we'll put Phillips on loan. More on loan. Loan to Rangers. It's very split, this one. 54% of you said loan. 42% said keep. Very split. Look, we're doing the full rebuild. This is a rebuild. And I think, being a 19-year-old, he needs to go back out on loan. So I'm saying loan. I'm saying loan on Mikey Moore. Vuskovic, I think he goes on loan. And I'm putting Mikey Moore at the bottom here, guys, in the under-21s academy loan, because he's still not considered a first-team player, right? He's still not considered a first-team player. He is considered part of the under-21 squad. So Luka Vuskovic goes in the loan section because he is a first-team player. Dane Scarlett, sell. Please get this guy off of our books. Let's get some money for him. Let's get some money for Scarlett. He needs to go. Scarlett, he's had his time. That's it. Alfie Devine, out on loan. Valise, please sell Valise. Sell Valise. Manor Solomon, sell. I think Manor Solomon has had a good season. He's very good, but I don't think he'll ever be good enough for us. And he is currently 29, and I don't think he stays. He came on a free. We can get some money for him. What did you guys actually say about Solomon, actually? That's another player I'm interested in about. Some of these are very obvious, so I'm not going to go through every single one. But the ones that maybe are a bit more question marks, yeah, sell. There's the majority of you. So sell. Who else we got? You've got Kota Takai. Kota Takai. What did you guys say about Kota Takai? 60% said loan. Guys, I don't think Kota Takai is ever going to be good enough for us. I don't think Kota Takai is going to be good enough for us. He didn't even start on loan, Kota Takai. I'm thinking sell. I'm thinking sell Kota Takai. What's the point? He was a Levy signing. He was a Levy signing. He hasn't had a good season. If we're being realistic, in 5 years' time, if we want to be competing for top 5 champions of the Premier League, whatever, Kota Takai, I don't think it's going to get us there. That is the reality. Cruel to be kind. I think sell. I think Takai sell. Some of you are saying put him on loan. But what's the point of putting him on loan if there's no future? You can only have so many loan players. He's 21. Okay, he's still young. He's still young. He is still young. Maybe I'm being harsh. Who's buying? Anyone. You can take it. You could send him back to Korea. To Japan. He was a marketing buy, Kota Takai. He was a Daniel Levy strategic marketing buy because we wanted to tap into the Asian market. Let's be realistic about this. He wasn't bought for his qualities. He was bought because he's Japanese. Like that was Daniel Levy's thinking. So look, I'm not convinced, but based on the fact that you guys have said loan, maybe I'm being harsh. Put him on loan another season. Does anyone actually know in the chat how many players can you have on loan? Ben and Sim also invested in this ENIC agenda. Leave it out, Pochin and out. I know what you mean by that, guys. I know what you mean by that. Takai, the Japanese market is enormous for business. And you guys are saying put him out on loan. I'm not sure. Look, I've put him on loan. We can put him on loan for another season. I'm just looking at the kids, how old they are. Tyrese Hall. What did you guys say on Tyrese Hall? These guys are probably all going to go back on loan, let's be honest. They are probably all going to go back on loan. 72 matches. He scored 16 goals. He'd probably go out for another loan spell. How old is he? Tyrese Hall. 20. Okay, he can go out on loan. He can go out, he's 20, he's under 21. He can go out on loan. Actually, yeah, no, he is. A lot of these youngsters probably can just have another season on loan. I'll probably just put them in the loan anyway. Akramovich. Who else have we got here? I'm sure you guys would have said put them out on loan. Dorrington. How old's Dorrington now? These guys are like getting older, guys. They're like probably like if they're not going to make it in the first team squad, then realistically, like a lot of these players probably never will. They probably never will. Dorrington. He's 21. Like, is he realistically going to make it in this squad? He's probably never going to make it in this squad. Like, put it this way, guys. We just had a conversation about Kota Takai, right? So if you've got Alfie Dorrington, 21 years old, Luka Vuskovic, same age, Kota Takai, same age. Realistically, if you are future planning for this squad, do you need like 4 centre-backs that are going to go out on loan when half of them aren't good enough? Like the whole point of this is that we are doing a proper clear out. They are doing a real restructure. And if you were going by that basis, you'd keep Dorrington and you'd get rid of Kota Takai. And guys, something that I forgot to put earlier in the things that we should have learnt from last season is one of the things that we learnt this season particularly is that we didn't plan well for Champions League football, right? One of the biggest struggles that we had this season and why we had so many injuries is because we did not have enough homegrown talent, which left our European squad last year and our Champions League squad this year short on the players. Right? So if let's say next season we've got no European football, but the year after that we expect to be back in Europe, we need to be building on a team that has more homegrown talent and more squad players that have come through the academy, come through the ranks, so that we can future plan. That's what proper future planning looks like. You know, when you're thinking like long term, like you've got the question of this year, the question of next year. That's why I said to you guys at the very beginning, you've got to think of this like 4 summer transfer windows, and then you're going to be rebuilding. So then do you want to put Kota Takai out on loan or just sell him and then place Dorrington as the replacement? Like I don't have all the answers. I don't know. I'm just posing the questions. But yeah, do you guys see what I'm saying? There you go. Thanks, Darfasha. Sarah, maximum international professionals out on loan is 6. Under 21 is unlimited. Some of these guys aren't under 21. Some of these guys are 21. Lancashire's 21. These guys are 21. Some of them. Mikey Moore isn't. Kota Takai is not 21. He's 21. So 6 players out on loan. So how many have we got at the moment? 3. But Yang Min Hyuk doesn't count as an academy player, I'm pretty sure. So he counts as a first team player, doesn't he? Lancashire, I think he's 21. So he might not count as an academy player anymore. I'm going to put these guys here as well. So from those you have, there was a Ajayi there, Kramovic. Who's this? Is this Iro? Donnelly. What did I just say? Yeah. I mean, some of these guys we can loan out one more season, but realistically after that, they're going to need to get rid. So the question is, do you make space now or do you make space in future? Yeah. How old's Donnelly? Isn't Donnelly 20? I think he might be. What are you guys saying? Harry Kane. Unfortunately, he's not. Dorrington Sell. Some of you are saying De Zerbi might play. Okay, there you go. Donnelly's 21. He's 21, so 3rd of Jan. So next year he's going to be 22. These guys are like on the cusp, you know, they're on the cusp of like coming into the first team now. So really at 21, is he going to have another loan season? Or do you sell them, you know? Because some of these players did have very good loan spells. But anyway, guys, this is what we've ended up with. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we've ended up with 18 first team players. We've ended up with 18 first team players. And look, this is very loose, right? This is very loose, but 18 first team players. You want ideally a squad of 22 is according to De Zerbi's remit, right? So we're on 18. The positions we are lacking, and we want 2 in each position, 3 for the goalkeeper. So let's say 23. You want really 23, 24, right? We need 1 goalkeeper if we're going to sell Vicario. We need 1 striker if you're going to get rid of you need 1 striker if you're going to get rid of Richie, top priority. We are going to need, who else have we sold here? You probably need a left winger because we only have left wing, we only have Tell and Odobert is not going to be fit till next year. So that is an emergency buy rather than that's something that we're already lacking, a left winger. Let me know, guys, if you agree. It's getting a bit dark in here. Maybe I'll switch the light on. Might switch the light on, guys. Yeah, but let me know. The other position might be we need cover for left back because I've also put there sell Udogi, so we need a left back. Ugh, horrible lighting. I do this every time. I'm like, ugh, horrible lighting. Right, so top positions going into this transfer market. Based on this, just based on like our like thinking, right? So a left back, for example, Udogi, is not priority to sell him, but it's priority to buy a second rotation for left back anyway. So if we sell Udogi, I think you need another left back. And bearing in mind, guys, in this we've put here sell Bissouma, sell Sarr, and that is the area of the squad that we are bloated, which is why we don't need another number 8 or another number 6, because we have Archie Gray and Bergvall, and I would be quite happy to play them in an FA Cup or a Carabao Cup, or bring them on as an impact sub, because next year they'll have more experience. So going into this market, top priorities: goalkeeper, left winger, striker, left back, and also we haven't put in right winger because something we haven't taken into consideration here is the injured players. So Kulusevski probably back next season. Kulusevski probably back next season. And Kudus. We don't know when Kudus is going to be back. So maybe with Odebear and Kudus and Kulusevski currently out, we don't know how they're going to come back. I think we also need a right winger. The ideal scenario would then be that you're going to buy a player who can play left wing and right wing. You need, well, De Zerbi said he wants 2 players in each position. He doesn't believe in players. He's completely the opposite of Ange. Ange wanted players who could play in multiple positions. Roberto De Zerbi wants experts in each position. So in terms of like buying cover for each of these positions, it's going to be slightly different than what we had previously. There is an argument to suggest, actually, no, we don't really need a number 10 because we have Gallagher who can cover there. But so you have Gallagher, Maddison, and Xavi as your midfield for next year. So we can go through each position, right? So starting from the back, the 2 keepers are Kinski and Austin, and we need to buy another one. Our right back is going to be Pedro Porro and Jed Spence. Defender, Vuskovic is out on loan. So that would be the spot that we fill Senesi. So centre back would be Senesi for next season. And then you'd have Mickey van der Ven, Danso, which gives you 3 centre backs in the squad. So you probably need to bring back maybe Kota Takai. If you're going to get rid of Dragusin, is Kota Takai better than Dragusin? I don't know. But yeah, I don't know if that's enough. I don't know if it's enough. Senesi to replace Romero, that means you've only got 3 centre backs. We're probably still short in the centre backs. Then your midfield, you probably actually do need another midfielder, don't you? We probably actually do need another midfielder. Guys, there's so much work to be done. Look at this. You probably do. If you're not going to keep Paulinho, you probably do need to buy another. You probably do need to buy another midfielder to replace Paulinho if you're not going to sign him. Because then your 6 and your 8s would be Bentancur, Bergval, and Archie Gray, and maybe Gallagher can cover there. It's not really that strong. And then you've got left back was, well, we spoke about selling Udogi, and then Ben Davis. That's also not strong enough, and he's out injured. And then Maddison, Xavi for the midfield. Kudus can play midfield as well. Kulusevski can also play the number 10. So you've got, actually, thinking about it, you've got Gallagher, Maddison, Xavi, Kudus, and Kulusevski that can all play the 10. That's quite a lot. And then you've got Odebear on the left wing and right wing, Ted on the left wing, and Solanke up top. So I think the priorities are going to be goalkeeper, striker. Senesi would make sense on that basis. Paulinho, there's question marks. Robertson, given what we've just spoken about, maybe if you're going to get rid of Ben Davis, I've put him in keep. But if you're going to get rid of him, maybe you're going to buy left back Andy Robertson because he's cheap. Cheap and cheerful. No, but we need a starter. If you're going to get rid of Udogi, you need a starter there. That's the truth. So yeah, that's roughly what you guys have also gone with. There's been a few that we disagreed on, Udogi being one of them. But yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, 11 players up for sale. That's it. 11 players up for sale. And I know they don't all start for our starting team, but those are the 11. Let me know, guys. What do you think? Maybe there's some questions to be asked around these as well. But Salza definitely needs to go on loan for a couple of seasons. So I'm just looking if there's any others, but roughly I think that's what it should be. What are you guys saying? I'm coming to the chat. Can we get Morgan Rogers? Should be selling Maddison. We are not selling Maddison. Absolutely not, Systemic Frog. We're not selling Maddison. Who's going to sell Maddison? Can't sell Maddison. Maddison's going to be our club captain. Very good iced tea, that. Very good iced tea. And it didn't go cold. By Lewis Hall. Playmaker number 6. Yes, we need a left winger. Yeah, left winger is imperative. Left winger. I don't know if there's been any rumours and connections. Look, tomorrow, now we've roughly done this. Obviously, things are subject to change, but it's been a long time coming that we wanted to review these players and properly do the clear out. So now that we've had this conversation, we know the positions that are needed. We know that I'm going to save this actually. I'm going to save the outcome of this. Hopefully it saves it. I don't know if it's actually going to save it. Can I download it? Right. Keeping that for later. Keeping these for later, guys. These are also yours as well. Your votes as well. So we'll come back to these. But yeah, left winger, some of you were saying. You never blood the youth. I don't know what that means. Sell the youth, maybe? Takai is enormous for business, but I know, but do we want to keep players because of this is like this, but this is Daniel Levy thinking. You can't create success with the same thinking that used to make it. So if we're in this mess because of the players that we've been buying, because of the messy squad build, I don't know. I think we put him on loan. Maybe we don't sell him yet, but can we get better? Can we get better from that market? Look at Matoma. Some of you are even saying in the chat, look at Matoma. Yeah, he's not the best player, but look, he does a good job for Wolves, and he kind of has a great game against us. So more keep. Cup starter and league backup. Divine sell. Mikey Moore, man up for another year in Scotland. Yeah, he's still 19, don't forget. Oh my gosh, guys, it's getting cool outside. I've got the windows wide open. It feels so nice now. Such a nice breeze. Moore needs a loan to the Championship. No, I think the Scottish Prem was good for him. I think it was good for him. Dane Scarlett sell. Dane Scarlett is on the sell list. He will never make it in the first team, unfortunately for him. Unfortunately for him. I do feel bad for him, but he's not good enough. He's not good enough. But he is in the sell list. Who's buying? Yeah, look at us spending Enix money. Look at us just spending it for them. Kota Takai on loan in the Bundesliga. The thing is, guys, Kota Takai, he didn't even get any minutes. He did not even get any minutes in Mönchengladbach is where he went, and he didn't get any minutes. So what's the point? He went there, didn't he? I think he went to Mönchengladbach. I'm saying it completely wrong, but you guys know what the club I mean. Yeah, I didn't understand these comments about the ENIC agenda thing. Levy out, Poch in, Ange out. I don't know. Look, guys, we've been through the manager merry-go-round now. We have to look forward. We put it behind us. We're keeping De Zerbi. If we were to build him his ideal squad, what does it look like? This is the clear out. And then the inbounds. And that's why it looks likely that I think Senesi might happen based on what we've just spoken about. Because if Vuskovic is going to go out on loan, you need to reinforce that position if we sell Romero for sure. And Dragusin. But not all of this is going to happen in one transfer window. Look at this. You're not going to sell these 12 players in this one transfer window. If we're lucky, we'll sell 8. If we're lucky, we'll sell 4 first teamers and we'll sell 4 from the academy. Historically, we've never bought more than 4 players. Uh, we might have bought 5, but I don't think we've had a season where we've realistically bought more than 5 players. So it's going to be a push. It might be like 4 players we buy and then 2 on loan, or 3 players we buy and 2 on loan, something like that. So what's the priority here? Priority is going to be a striker. It's going to be a left winger who can also play right wing, and then a centre back. And you'd also hope left back or a right back, left back probably, and then that's 4. That is your 4 priority for this transfer window. But I missed out a goalkeeper, so maybe he keeps Vicario for now. I don't know. Maybe we get more than that. Maybe we get 6. Maybe we get 6 players. But it's going to be a push, guys. It's going to be a push. Big summer transfer coming up. Big summer transfer. Yeah, someone just said here he's no Matoma. There you go. 6 senior players can go out on loan. Who have I put on loan? I've only put 4 there. I've only put 4. Oh, you're a Rangers fan. As Rangers fans love him. Yeah, maybe. Alfie was on loan to my local club, Aberdeen. Oh, big up to you. Did you like him there? Was he good? Was he good? I can't remember how old we just said Alfie Devine was. I can't remember. Did I just say he was 21? I can't remember. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a Bito, we agree. Beyond the age of 21, you should talk about loans instead of sellers. Sorry, we should talking about sell instead of loans, which I agree with. Yeah. This is exactly my point, right? There's no point keeping them if the future is supposed to be bright and it's supposed to be better than what we've already got. You need to clear out. I mean, I don't know what the maximum squad size. And also, guys, the other thing we've got to remember in terms of the squad building, homegrown talent is going to be important in future planning. English players is going to be important in future planning. So club trained and homegrown talent. Those 2 things are going to be important. The other thing that's going to be important is the squad to cost ratio in terms of future planning, because the PSR is changing this summer to the squad cost ratio, which means we can have a maximum of 85% of our revenue spent on players, footballing revenue spent on players. The year after that, it can only be 70%. So essentially what needs to happen is we can spend 85% of our squad cost ratio this summer, and then in the hope that next year we get back into some kind of European football, then our revenues from football increase, and then by the time we're back into Europe, that 70% then makes more sense. That's how I see it. I don't know. It's just logically in my head, right? Because you can't do everything now. It's got to be a phased approach. So let's say maybe the priorities, maybe you don't sell Udogi this transfer window, but he goes next transfer window, But Bissouma and Richie are no-brainers, and there's even a world in which we actually keep Dragusin as well. So there's a lot. It's a lot. Bergval came when he was 18. Will he be counted as homegrown when he's 21? No, I don't think so. I think homegrown is you have to be born in the UK. So you have to be playing for the home. I think that means you have to be playing for the home internationals. Like as in um you've got club trained, so that would be like club trained at Spurs, and then you've got homegrown being like Danso, who grew up in the UK but was trained by club. But I think Danso has multiple passports. I think Danso counts because he has 2 passports. He has an Austrian and a British one, but I could be wrong. I'm not too sure on the criteria of that off the top of my head. Loan out Gray, maybe. But look, there's a lot of conversations to be had. Bergval and Gray are soon club. Oh, they are soon club. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, maybe if they were playing in England under that age, then maybe they count. Maybe I'm wrong on that one. Okay, guys. Oh my gosh, we've been going for 2.5 hours, guys. This has been a long stream, but thanks for tuning in, guys. But yeah, lots of questions are going to be asked. Lots of questions are raised. This is roughly, maybe, who we think some of the players who are going to be sold and go back out on loan next year. One of those included is Sousa. Oh, Haaland is a Yorkshire man. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, maybe Bergvall does count as that homegrown. Maybe then, in which case, he can't go out on loan. If that is the case, and Gray and Bergvall are going to count as homegrown or club trained, then you can't send them out on loan. So that answers the loan question, doesn't it? For those people saying put on loan Archie Gray and Bergvall, you can't do it. If you want them to count towards that quota, if you're future planning to get back into the Champions League or back into some kind of European football, at the very least, you'd hope Europa, right? Okay, so we know the sell list. Tie their hands together and throw them out the back of the van. Who are we buying? Well, Systemic Frog, that is going to be a conversation for another day, isn't it? Because we've been live for 2.5 hours. The question is now, what comes out in the press, what strong links are there, what transfer speculations are there. And that means we can be more considered when we're having conversations about whether they are actually going to be good players for us or not. We now know the drill and we know what players are priority and what's needed going forward, according to us lot. Okay, yeah. So you guys are saying, Jamie's saying correct, and maybe that's why Danso counts. Big up, Luke. Luke, you're so invested in Spurs, mate. Mate, you should come to this side, Luke. It's much better over here, Luke. It's much better. If you want to test your character, come to Spurs. We're coming for you next season, Luke. We're coming for you next season. Roberto De Zerbi versus Arteta. You wait. You just wait, people. You just wait. Anyway, guys, right. 2.5 hours we've been going live. I need to go and make my dinner because it's 8:15 and I haven't eaten. So yeah, but thanks so much for joining. It's been a really long stream, but I've had a lot of fun chatting to you guys, getting your opinions on who we think the squad is, where we're going to move forward, going through your comments and all of that jazz. So you'd lose your mind. Yeah, we've all lost our mind, Luke. We've all lost our minds, but big up to you. We've all lost our minds. We have to get rid of Ange. That must be the priority. Hey, Jorgen. Welcome in. Welcome in. We're just wrapping up. But yeah, I think Lange, he's on a tightrope. He is on a tightrope. Guys, as I said at the very beginning, okay? Pause. Pause, have a deep breath, pause. What a pleasure, right? What a pleasure that we can just like take a step back and observe everything and just go, right, this is where we're at, 17th. This is the situation with the squad, with the players on loan, with the academy, with everything. This is the gaps. And so now we move forward in a way that's more considered. Obviously, we don't know the exact answers to all of these. There's loads of nuance to it, including things like contract clauses. Sometimes players can't go because you have certain contract clauses. So there's other things that will be taken into consideration. And I'd hope that the board are having these conversations. But as I said at the very beginning, what is most important is we are being considered in the approach and looking at the long-term vision of building this squad in De Zerbi's image in what he actually wants. And we're going to need a little bit of patience. We're going to need a little bit of patience, guys, because last thing we want is buying players for the sake of buying players. It needs to be done in a way that's serious. And look, if it's not serious, then we will start the SOS campaign. If it looks like a bit of a joke and it's not strengthening the squad, then we've got something to say, don't we? But we have to allow them to do it anyway. Okay, guys, we need to get rid of Lange. Yeah, so yeah, that's what I forgot what I was saying. Yeah, the what I said at the very beginning was expect in the next few days, and I say expect as if I'm some kind of journalist and I have some kind of intel, which I don't. However, from the general news that I've been seeing out there, I would expect that we can expect a new sporting director in the next week or so before the World Cup. I would also expect some conversations resurfacing about Lange. Vinay, I'm not sure, but Lange, there's definitely a question mark, and that is going to depend on the sporting director. If the sporting director can work with Lange, maybe they work together. There is a scenario in which they get in the new sporting director and Lange goes back to doing the academy. Maybe that's okay. If De Zerbi feels the academy is not strong enough, and that was something that was mentioned in Charrington's letter, then maybe Lange makes way and we get another youth academy director, sporting director, or like someone who deals with transfers for the youth specifically. So there's lots of ways this could play out. The first of those is knowing who the sporting director is and whether they can work with Johan Lang. That's the first question. And then from there, we can see whether they get rid of Lange or not. Hey, it might come tomorrow. It might come tomorrow. But I think I wouldn't be sure on it, guys. I wouldn't be sure on it. Big up to you. Oh, thank you very much for the super chat. Big up to you, James. Thank you very much. Oh, yeah, thank you, Cam Zoa, as well. But thank you very much, James. Have a great evening to you too. Cam Zoa, big up to you, who gave us £100. £100. I mean, I wish YouTube didn't take like 60% of whatever they take. I don't actually even know. But yeah, big up to you. Big up to you. Thank you very much. Guys, we will be back. Obviously, the season is over and out, but there's always stuff to talk about. So let's see what news comes out in the next few days. I'm going to try, because I've built up this habit of coming online every day and I kind of feel a bit sad when I don't speak to you guys. So let's see what comes out. And if not, we'll start turning towards the World Cup, have some conversations. The Uruguay, Netherlands and Spain squad should be announced imminently. So we're going to hear more information about that. And I also have some exciting stuff coming up as well. So talk about that a bit later. Oh yes, Savinho. Yeah, we heard we were going back in for Savinho. That's a good point, Systemic Frog. That's a good one to end on. I did see this today as well. Savinho was back linked, but that sounds like a club signing, doesn't it? It sounds like a club signing. So is it someone that De Zerbi actually wants? Is it someone that De Zerbi actually wants, or is this just like a going back in for it because the conversation's already there? These are the questions that I think we will still have questions around come the end of the season, if it's not what De Zerbi wants. And trust me, we've seen the nice De Zerbi. We have seen De Zerbi being all appeasing, talking about the positive side of things and how good everything is. On the flip side of that, if De Zerbi doesn't get what he wants, we will see a different character from De Zerbi. He will walk. He will walk. I'm telling you now, De Zerbi will not stand for it. He'll just walk. He will throw his toys out the pram, just as all the other managers before him. So if you want to keep De Zerbi on side, we can see what he can do. So then give him what he wants. I hope you reach 10,000 subscribers soon, Sarah. That would be great. Yeah, thank you very much. What we on now? I actually don't know what. Yeah, please do, before you guys drop off, please do like the stream, hype, subscribe, all of that stuff. So yeah, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. What we on now? 5,500. Big up to you all. Oh, the matchday vlog, 29 most hyped video. Big up to you all. Big up to you all. Thanks for all the support. Right, guys, I'm going to make my dinner. Hopefully tomorrow's a bit cooler one. I can't leave you guys. Right, okay. Guys, have a good evening. As always, big up to you all in the chat. Thanks for all the support. Hope you've enjoyed the show. Been a little bit different, but thanks for all your contributions as well and voting in the poll. And I will see you all very soon in the next video. In the next video. Bye for now.